Sure, if you want to think of the and flavor as vanilla and the or flavor as chocolate, why not?
Or the Oreo.
Sure.
Okay.
So and or. All right. So for today, they're actually not too complicated. Since this is the first day we're looking at compound inequalities, I made them pretty simple on your assignment, so they're not too bad. So with and inequalities, when you graph these, they're going to look a certain way, and the or inequalities, when you graph these, they're going to look a certain way as well. Let's focus on the and inequalities first. And inequalities can come in two different subtypes, and or inequalities are only ever going to look one way. So let me give you an example of what the and inequalities might look like. Let's say we have, let's do 7y is greater than or equal to 14. And then I'm going to write the word and, capital letters, to emphasize it, and we'll do y plus 3 is less than 1. Alright, so we're going to treat this as if it's two separate equations, or inequalities, because it is. So we want to focus on the one on the left first here. So Wesley, one on the left, how would I go about solving that?
Well, there's no distribution or combining like terms.
Nope.
So when you just get the constant variables on one side.
And they already are. So
nothing. Or subtract.
not subtract, because it's 7 times y.
Divide.
So divide both sides by? Cool. So divide by 7, divide by 7. Now the number that's in front of the variable isn't negative, so I don't have to flip the inequality. So this is going to be y, and then 14 divided by 7 is 2, like you said. So I'm going to drop this symbol down exactly like it was, greater than or equal to. Alright, so before I graph that, I'm going to do the other one first. And then I'm going to graph them both at the same time, on the same graph. So the one on the right, Tanner, how would I solve that one? Right, how do I move it to the other side?
What?
How do I move this over there? Did you say add? Subtract. Great. So subtract what from both sides? No. Yes. So minus 3, minus 3. So this cancels. So I've got y, and then what's 1 minus 3, Tanner? Negative 2. Is the number in front of the variable negative? Is it? No, so I don't need to flip the inequality. Cool. Alright, so now I'm going to graph them both at the same time. So I need to have both 2 and negative 2 on my graph. So I don't just have like the number in the center and then a couple up, a couple down. I need to have both 2 and negative 2 on my graph. So I'm going to have negative 2 on the left hand side. We'll go negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. And I might as well go a couple up because I got 3, and I got room for it. Let's go to 4. Alright, so when I go to negative 2, when I put my circle there, should I fill it in or should I leave it open? Great. And then on this one, should the arrow point to the left or should the arrow point to the right? The left, right? Because this is pointing to the left. And Mr. Taft made a mistake, but that's okay. Because he's going to fix that right now. And then when I put my dot at positive 2, should I fill that in or should I leave it open? And then should the arrow point to the left or to the right? To the right, right? Okay. The mistake Mr. Taft made is he should have called this an or inequality and not an and, because the arrows point apart. Mr. Taft is an imperfect person. He apologizes. He's also speaking in the third person. If you want to trade him in for a different math teacher, Mr. Taft would understand. Mr. Taft is the only Algebra 1 teacher in the building at the moment. Okay. If you wanted to go to the school board and make an official complaint, Mr. Taft would understand. Okay. So let's do one that's directly from your assignment then, so Mr. Taft can make this up to you. So let's do m divided by 9 is greater than 0. M as in that's tasty. M as in Macklemore is a rapper from Seattle. Greater divided by 9 is greater than 0, and m plus 9 less than 16. All right, so I want you guys to solve both of these on your own first, and then try to graph them both on the same number line, and I'll come around and check. So try this on your own first. So solve them as two separate inequalities, and then try to graph them on the same number line. So rather than these two pointing away from each other, though, you'll notice that rather than pointing away, they're going to do something different.
Come together.
Right. No spoilers, though. They're going to do something different than point away, though. No spoilers. Hashtag no spoilers. Hashtag math no spoilers. Come on. Solve the one on the left first. Multiply both sides by 9. 0 times 9 is, there we go. So 9 is greater than 0. You're halfway there. Well, I mean, like a quarter of the way there. We just got to graph them. Great, and now try graphing them. So you need to have both 0 and 7 on your number line. So on number line, that's both 0 and 7 on there. Shoot. Shoot. Jump. Why did these stupid things keep coming on? Good lord. Okay, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 9. This should just be n, nothing more than equals, and then this should be 0 over here. And then totally agree with you. Yeah, they were good. And there's one line that's in between. That's great. And then on the other side should be 0. And then the same symbol in between. So Pac-Man wants to eat n just like it did before. And then on this one, you have the 7 in the right place. So what you can do with these lines is you can just make it into one line. You don't have to have the arrows coming together. You can just make one line in between them. If you want to have the arrows coming together, that's fine too. So you're going to have a dotted blue and dotted yellow. This one is going to go that way. And this one is going to go that way. All right. Cool. 0 and 7. One goes that way. One goes that way. All right. So not too bad. So on the one on the left, if you multiply both sides by 9, the number in front of the variable isn't negative, so you get m is greater than 0. And then on this one, you subtract 9 from both sides. You get m is less than 7. So on your number line, you need to have both 0 and 7. So I'll have 0 on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. They're both open circles because neither of them have a line underneath them. And then since they're both pointing towards each other, I don't have to have arrows on both of them. Instead, I can just draw it as one happy line that kind of comes together. And that'd be fine. If you want to have arrows on both of them, that's fine too. And if you wanted to draw them as two separate lines, if you drew it as like one line that goes this way and one line that goes this way, that's fine too. It's totally fine. Okay? So there's one more example I want to show you guys. And that's one thing that might kind of throw you off. And this is one version of the AND inequality. So this is another version of the AND inequality. And the AND inequality can be written, the OR inequality can't be written this way, but the AND can. Where it can be written as one big equation or inequality that has 3 sides to it. And this is directly from your homework. We're going to do -1 is less than r divided by 10, which is less than or equal to +1. So to go about solving this, you're going to focus on the middle where the variable is. So r divided by 10, we've got that pesky fraction. What's the greatest common denominator of 10?
10.
Great. So I'm going to multiply everything by the greatest common denominator of 10, which is 10. So I'm going to multiply all three sides. So 10 times negative 1 would be what? Perfect. If I multiply 10 times this, the denominator and the number match, so I'm just left with the numerator. And then 10 times 1 is 10. Now the number that's in front of the variable isn't negative, so I don't flip any of these inequalities. I leave them as they are. Kind of, sort of. You guys with me right now? All right. Now, when I draw my number line here, I'm going to need to use a little bit of scale because if I counted by ones, I'd have to go from negative 10 all the way to positive 10, and that's 20 little dashes, which is a lot of little dashes. So I'm going to scale it. I'm going to count instead of by ones. Sure, I could count by fives. So I'm going to go negative 10, negative 5, 0, positive 5, positive 10. All right, so when I put a dot above negative 10, I'm going to look at this line that's in between r and negative 10. So should I have it be open or closed? Should I fill it in or should I leave it open? Okay, does everybody see what Brendan just said? And Wesley and I think maybe Caden said that too? That I should leave it open?
Yeah.
No line under the thingy.
No line under the thingy. Thank you, Cameron. Very eloquently put. When I put a dot at positive 10, should I fill that one in?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's a line under the thingy, right? Okay, now r is in between these two numbers, which means my line just goes in between those two dots. So r is in between these two numbers, which means my line goes in between those two dots. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Kinda, sorta.
Yeah.
In an Algebra 1 kind of way. All right. So we're going to look at the first 4 problems on your assignment today. This assignment honestly isn't that bad. And I'm not just saying that as a math teacher who thinks everything we've done this year isn't that bad. I'm honestly saying it's not that bad.
Can I work with partners?
Well, let's get through the first 4, and then if you want to work by your onesies or twosies, that's fine, but no more than twosies.
So we have 2 partners?
No, 2 people. It would be you with 1 partner. Onesies or twosies. Working by your onesies would be like you consulting the 17 personalities that live in your head.
That's always fun.
Right?
Multiple personalities is fun.
Math is always more fun with voices.
So schizophrenia
Well, no, schizophrenia is in voices.
can be with.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not different personalities. It's just hearing
I know
voices.
that's multiple
Personality disorder.
but-
All right.
Which I don't think is very fun either.
Probably not.
Just guessing.
Welcome, Mr. Smith.
You're late.
All right, so let's look at question number 1 here. So we got an or, which means our arrows are going to point away from each other. So let's see, I picked on kind of some random people. I'm going to pick on Emily first here. Do you want to do the one on the left or the one on the right, Emily? Right? Okay. So we've got m minus 4 greater than 1. How would we solve that? Great. So that would give us m, and do we flip the inequality? Because the number in front of the variable isn't negative, right? So we leave it as greater than, and then what would the 1 turn into?
5.
Perfect. So I find 5, put an arrow or a dot above it. Do I fill it in?
No.
Arrow pointing left or right? Perfect. Colton. So you've got the one on the left now. So I've got 10m less than or equal to 20. How would I solve that? Both sides by? Okay. Do I need to flip the inequality?
No.
Is the number in front of the variable negative? Okay, so then I don't flip the inequality. So this is going to be m less than or equal to, it's 20 divided by 10. Okay. So I find 2, I put a dot above it, do I fill it in?
Yes.
Okay. And then arrow pointing left or right?
Right. I'll write number 2.
Okay.
Or 6 or 4.
I promise you'll be fine. Nobody in first period died from doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the one on the left or the one on the right? do we solve that, Jamie? Great.
Oh, no.
So the left turns into x, and then what does the right turn into? And then do we need to flip the inequality? Okay, because the number in front of x isn't negative. So I find 6. Do I color the dot? Okay. And then arrow pointing left or arrow pointing right? Good job. Alright, Lucas. For the next one, I've got negative 2x greater than negative 6. How do I solve that? Fine. Okay. Is the number in front of the variable negative? Do I need to flip the inequality? You say yes or no? Okay. And then negative 6 divided by negative 2 is what, Lucas? Perfect. So, do I color the circle in or leave it open? And then arrow pointing left or arrow pointing right? Great. Alright. Camden. We're looking at number 3 down here. We're going to focus in on the variable, which is right in the center. 2r. How do I get r by itself? No.
Multiplier.
Not multiply, we're going to do. Okay, so we're looking at number 3. In the middle, 2r is 2 times r. So Camden, what's the opposite of 2 times r?
Right.
Okay. We're going to divide everything by 2. So Camden, what's negative 4 divided by 2?
2.
Close. Negative 2. And then 2r divided by 2 is just r. And then Camden, what's 12 divided by 2? Alright. Camden, is the number in front of the variable positive or negative? Okay. So then we don't have to flip the inequality. We can give them the same direction. Now when you're doing the next part, you're going to put a dot above negative 2, a dot above 6. Camden, do we fill either of those dots in?
No.
Alright? And r is in between those two numbers, so how do I draw the line?
I'm going to the left.
Just connect them.
Oh.
Right, because the variable is just in between these two, so I'm just going to connect them. Kind of, sort of.
Yep.
Me star. Okay, Wesley, you want to do left or right?
Left.
Great. So we got n divided by 8 is greater than 0.
0.
And how do you solve that?
By 8.
Great. And so n is greater than?
Then 0.
Great. So I find 0. And do I color the dot in?
No.
Arrow pointing left or right?
Right.
Okay, I'm going to go just a little bit right for the moment. The one on the right, Caden, n plus 4. Great. And then, is the number in front of the variable positive or negative? Okay, so do I need to flip the inequality?
No.
Great. So I find 3. So I put open or close circle above it. And arrow pointing left or right. Chapter road right. Yeah. And since I already started this one here, I'm just going to connect it.
Okay.
I love how you guys like will just whisper to each other. I guess you guys can't hear this? Like I'm not a superhero, but you're like 10 feet away from me. I can hear right, I can hear or I can hear all that stuff. I'm not Superman, but like you're in the same classroom I am.
Just pretend you can.
Seriously, come on. Alright, so you guys can work by your onesies or by your twosies. I'll come around to help anybody who needs it. I'm going to turn the lights back on.
You ever go anywhere? Where's yours, mate? Yes, partner.
That sounds about right.
What? Caden, move. Caden, move. Partner.
Dude.
I'll join you.
So you did
Bro.
minus 3 minus 3.
We don't talk about movies.
Negative 3 minus 3.
The following people please report to room 4, Kyle Augustine, Hannah Bedford, Brooklyn Berkeley,
Hey,
Tucker Gottlieb,
Mason,
Colton Kim,
could you,
Brett
I know
Larson,
it's not
and
your
Aaron
fault.
Ryder.
I
Please
know, I
report
just
to
said it
the
wasn't your
floor.
fault. Like, that's what I said first. I know it's not your fault, but. Thank you. Alright. Minus 2 from both sides. Adding to both sides.
May I use the restroom, sir? Thank you, senor.